Hi everyone, welcome back to Studioloo. So I am here today. I think I'm going to do a little more work on this book. I did lots last night and we're getting close, I think, with this one. I also wanted to share a little thrift haul with you, even though it's not Thursday, because I did a little bit of thrifting yesterday. And I also forgot to share some things from Thrifty Thursday. I had a little bag of stuff left over, so yeah, I just want to grab it. So let me move this out of the way. It is a lovely Sunday morning here for me. Probably I'll be posting this video a little later today. So these two books I got. This one is called Mysteries of Paris, and I love this cover. It's beautiful. It is a really nice old book. Very old pages. By Eugene Sue, the author. Oh, nothing. Yeah. This is like a book from the time when things were a little bit tenuous with people's language. And it doesn't have a date. I am assuming it's very much turn of the century. I would say like late 1800s to, at the latest, I would say like 1910 probably, but I think this is more than likely 1800s. But I will look it up and see if I can figure that out maybe later. And then I found this book, The Identification of Trees and Shrubs. So the book itself is just a lovely, big, beautiful book with a beautiful cover. And it obviously lends itself to like having some kind of cool, I have an idea for an image to put on this and a project to do with it. But also inside, so the back half is kind of boring. It's all just writing. But the front is beautiful. Very beautiful. And so this one is from, oh, that's my alarm, 1948. Okay, so that's those two. And then I found the weirdest book, like weirdest, most interesting book. This is just so strange to me. The Wonder of Innocence, Gina Lollobrigida. So it's like an art book, but like what I thought was cool about it. Well, this came from the antique store beforehand. Interesting, $25 at the antique store. So the interesting thing is like it's very, I'd say, unrealistic and intentional, like collage. So images in the foreground superimposed over backgrounds of like mostly children with animals. And so when my kids were little, I used to make this kind of art of them, but I would, you know, work really hard to make it look natural, like to blend it really well and, you know, sit and play with it in Photoshop for a really long time. But this one is just kind of like, oh, that's a bum. We don't want to see kid bums. Yeah, this one is just really like weird and interesting. I think like it's just very interesting. So I had to pick it up because it's just bizarre. And I think some of this would just go really good telling a story. And I'm also trying to think about some humorous kind of journals. Like, I don't know if you watched one of my thrift haul videos a while ago, I picked up a couple of small books of like awkward family photos and awkward pet photos, and I'm thinking about ways to use them. Oh, that's my favorite marabou, the marabou stork. Yeah, but isn't it neat? It just honestly cracked me up. It's like these kids are so funny and like, yeah. You know, like, what is going on? It's so funny. Okay, so that's that book. Pretty cool. Was happy to find that one. And then the rest of this stuff is actually from like last Thrifty Thursday, and it was sitting there. I had like 2 large bags of things, and then I had this little bag that I totally forgotten about. So I got this sketchbook. I just got it for the paper, to dye the paper, because it's really nice quality. So yeah, that one. And then I got another pad of construction paper, which I'll use for boiled books. And then I found this stamp, Whimsy Stamps Dough Dreaming. And that's the stamp itself, and it's a rubber stamp. And then I got this little packet. And this is like these gold kind of applique type things. I didn't even open them but I'm wondering if there's more than one of each of these. I think there might be. And I think they're paper. I don't know. Or they're stapled on. Let's see. Let's just open it on up here and see what I got. Okay. So what are these? Okay, so they're like a metallic feeling paper, and there's a whole stack of these. They're just like doilies. There's a ton of them, of each of them. So pretty awesome. That is like, I'm going to put those with my my die cuts, I think, because that's essentially like what they are, is, you know, embossed kind of die cuts. But they're really beautiful. So I'll do something fun with those. I'll just set them back here for now. And then I got another stamp, and this one I wasn't sure about because like I don't do words like this a whole lot, but I just liked her and I felt like it would be fun to watercolor her. Savannah Has a Crush Oddball Art Collection from whimsystamps.com. There was a few of these different girls, but I just grabbed one. I just thought she was kind of fun. And then more thread. I need thread because I use a lot of thread. So the odd thing is, like, these bags, this is like a whole entire bag of like Gutermann, which is like my favorite thread to use, and it was $1. This is just like regular whatever thread, and it was $2. I don't know how they do the pricing, but at the one store, like these are both from MCC stores, and the one store, they price in like the 1s and 2s, but then the other store, which has a lot more quilting and fabric kind of stuff, they're so expensive. Like I've seen like one thing of like used Gutermann thread in a bag for $8. It's just crazy. But it all depends, I guess, on your audience of like who's there. So then I got this. It's like a double pack of vintage cards, and these are birds, and it was $1. And I think there's 2 patterns. Yeah, and I actually might use a couple of these. So that's, yeah, in the journal I'm making right now, because I have both of these kind of birds in my journal. So the bluebird and the cardinal. Yeah, so these are the kind of things that I like. I don't buy a lot of playing cards, but when they're really just very useful and beautiful, I do. Like if they have a nice nature theme that I know I will use, then I'll get them. And then the last thing I got was this. So it's a, I think a die for embossing, and it's from Spellbinders, Impressibilities. So I don't have any of these kind of dies, but I figured I would give it a try because it looked kind of cool. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, very, very sharp. Yeah. So yeah, I'll have to try that out. That's pretty cool. Emboss and deboss, letterpress with ink, customize the template, use for embellishments, use as a stencil. Try with paper foil or other media. Use on 65-pound cardstock. Yeah, so I will try that in my machine and see what happens. That's really nice though. Very kind of folk arty, right? So yeah. And that is it for the haul. So I'm going to just clean this off and I will be back. Okay, so I may not have a ton of time to do much work this morning because I have to take my daughter to swimming, but let me just kind of go through. I need to see what I still need for this book, and maybe I'll make like a quick list of things just because that will help me understand what I still need to do, roughly anyhow. I need a pen. That'll do, that'll do. Okay, so let's take a look here. Yeah, so you're probably seeing a few things that are new that you haven't seen yet. I think, yeah, I want something for, so I'd say maybe like a cluster. This pen is so dying. Oh my goodness. It works sometimes on some paper, so I don't throw it away. There's a pen. There we go. That's what I need. Okay, ×1. Then this page, I think I just want to do some kind of like painting or something. This needs, I would say, a pocket, some kind with a tag. Maybe some stenciling here, and then on this page I think I want to make a little tuck spot with a journal card. Okay, then here definitely a lot more decorating that I want to do. Let's say another cluster, and then another pocket and another tag. Okay. This up a bit so that I make sure I am in the center of the camera. Okay. So I had a really nice day yesterday. We went for a beautiful walk, and we went to the graveyard that we always walk at, and all of the yellow leaves have fallen now from the ginkgo tree, one of the ginkgo trees that we stopped under. So ginkgo trees are very cool because, like, a lot of city planners and, you know, landscapers really like them because they're very resilient to cold, they're resilient to pollution, they're very old trees that have a lot of resiliency. So they produce these beautiful leaves, of course, that all turn yellow and fall off at this time of year here. And then the cool thing is with them is that they, hold on, sorry, I'm distracted. Let me just move these. Okay, so as I was saying, so city planners and like gardeners like them a lot because they're resilient. So that being said, they often only plant the male of the species because the fruit that happens on the female trees is almost like a big grape, and it's like a big yellow, like almost they look like those little yellow plums, but a little bit smaller, and they have this very cheesy, stinky smell about them. And so what happens with these trees, though, is that they're clever, right? They've figured out evolution, and they are preventing humans from destroying their kind. So you can plant the male version, but sometimes one branch, or sometimes the entire tree, will change sex and become female and start to fruit. So that is kind of cool. And so We went and collected a few of the fruit yesterday. Now, if you're going to be collecting these fruit for any reason, you should be very careful because they do contain reishi oil, which is the same compound that is in poison ivy. Also, they stink a lot, like kind of cheesy, like yucky smell, and they will make your hands smell bad, but also you will probably get a rash. So just be very careful if you are collecting them. Overall, just be careful with them. So why would you collect them? Because the nut that is inside the fruit is sort of kind of edible. Now, the thing about that is that you have to be very careful. So you remove the plummy part and all you keep is the nut inside. I recommend wearing gloves to do this so that you don't get anything on your hands, and leave that stuff outside that you've gotten off of there, like the grapey part. Leave it outside. Don't even bring it in your house. And so you can take the nut and wash it and dry it. I recommend washing it with a hose outside if you can, just because then you're not bringing any of the stinky or the reishi oil into your house. So then after you've washed it and dried, you can throw some oil in a pot on like medium high-ish, medium, the same temperature that you would cook popcorn on the stove top. So the nuts are about this big, and you put them, once the oil is hot, you throw them in the oil, and you need a lid, a nice tightly fitting lid. That's very important, the same as popping popcorn. And you're going to hear a relatively explosive pop, right? They're going to pop. And then you're going to get this, what looks like kind of like a little green looking Cheeto-y nut. And they taste sort of like a creamy popcorn. I use coconut oil when I cook mine, and I add some sea salt. But the most important thing to take away from this is that they are actually only able to be eaten in small doses. So you can get something called ginkgo toxicity. So children should have a maximum of 4 per day, and adults somewhere between 8 and 12. I would be cautious and say children should have 2, adults should have 6, just so that you stay right under that number. But they're really yummy, and they're like a little kind of fall treat. So yeah, just be careful though if you do plan to have any. But anyhow, I had planned to do some work, but I can't right now because I have to go to swimming class. But I will be back, and hopefully I will get another video shot today. I don't have a lot on my agenda today, and I don't know what the weather will be like. I'm almost hoping for rain because I feel so guilty if I don't go outside on these beautiful fall days, because soon we will be buried in snow. But anyhow, thank you for hanging out with me. I'll see you soon. I'll be back. I really want to work on this journal. So we'll talk again. All right, bye-bye.